Welcome to Local Business Unboxed, the podcast where we unpack the real stories, marketing tactics, and growth strategies behind today's businesses that drive our local economy. I'm John Almus, and each episode, we open the toolbox to reveal what's really working in marketing, from social media and word of mouth to various tools and strategies. Join me as I chat with business owners and industry experts who share their journeys, their hard-won lessons, and actionable tips that you can put into practice. If you're ready to get a behind-the-scenes look at what other local business owners are doing today, you're in the right place.
People struggle with content. I think people that are running a business, that are entrepreneurs, that are moms, that are dads, that are, they struggle with what to post, when to post, especially people that are a little bit older than me.
Today's guest is Kate Donovan of Kate Donovan Photography. She's been capturing life's moments for over a decade. We'll learn how she balances work-life balance, the marketing tactics that propel her success, and her thoughts on the future of photography. Welcome to episode 1.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Tell me about your business.
So we specialize in weddings, family photography, business, commercial, corporate headshots, anything and everything.
How did you start? Like, what brought you to where you are today?
So I was a second grade teacher for a long time, and I was always the person with a camera. I was always the one posting on, this is going to age me, but MySpace. And, everyone was inviting me, oh, bring your camera. I always posted and I always had a camera on me. So then, my year 6 of teaching, I ended up getting pregnant and planning to have my daughter. And I didn't want to put her in daycare and not be there for when, she first rolls over and first walks and all that stuff. So I started a website like 3 months pregnant and was like, I'm just going to go for it. And started taking pictures of everything and anything and kind of spreading the word to everyone I knew. I did my friend's first, my best friend from high school, her wedding. So I ended up doing 2 of close friends' weddings, and I was hooked because I was like behind the scenes. I got to see like the psychology of it when like all my other friends were like out there waiting for the bride to come down. I was like with her and with her family. So I just loved the psychology of it and just being in the mix.
And so you started doing weddings.
And then strangely enough, I was doing construction photography. So it was just because of a connection that I knew asked me to go and do kind of progressional photos before and afters and things for the website. And it was kind of a big company in Boston. They would put me up up on top, and the Converse building. I was up there when it was being built. It was pretty cool.
Like iron?
Yeah, my dad was an iron worker, okay. So I was up there in a hard hat and work boots, and so I had kind of 2 aspects to my company, and I didn't want to show the brides the construction side of it because it was like kind of a weird contrast.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic.
Yeah,
and I'm sure construction guys don't want to see wedding photos.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it was time to update my website, I just kind of went for the weddings, and I'm glad I did because, I'll shoot construction too. I still do kind of some real estate stuff, or I barely say no.
Yeah. So now though, you do more than just weddings. Although that's probably like a big chunk, right? But like,
yeah.
You do a lot of business headshots?
Yep, business branding, corporate headshots, you name it. I kind of work with local businesses to give them an opportunity to start their website and start their social media content. So, I have packages that accommodate an entrepreneur that's just starting out.
I feel like I've seen you shoot headshots of like big businesses in
Yep.
Boston.
Yep.
And then local stuff in Amesbury.
Yep.
Kind of a mix.
Kind of a mix, yeah. I really would love to get into more of the corporate headshot stuff during the week because my daughter's in school and it's kind of like a short and sweet gig, and but they always have a pretty big budget. So,
what's tell me about corporate headshots you've done. Let's talk about a job in specific. Do you think of like one that felt gratifying and that the business was happy with?
Yes.
Tell us how you got it, like on the marketing side, like any aspiring photographers that maybe want to know how you land these jobs.
Right.
And then tell me how you planned it and how it went.
Right. So it's funny because, I do a lot of marketing for weddings and, obviously social media ads and things like that. But a lot of my work is through connections. So this company, Pella, which is windows and doors, it's a huge company. my daughter plays lacrosse, and the one guy was the lacrosse coach, and he asked me, he's like, hey, do you do headshots? I'm like, yep.
Because he knew you did photography?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did some for the lacrosse team, throughout the year. And so I did Pella's headshots. I think we did 50 headshots in like 2 hours. We just banged it out. We had a whole bunch of lighting, and it was fun, and people loved it. And, making people feel confident and relaxed and, calm is kind of what I do best, weirdly enough. And I think that's comes into play in every part of photography because, yeah, you can take a good picture, but if the person in front of the camera is feeling uncomfortable,
I look like shit.
right. So
does the wedding side of things help the corporate side of things, like the
Yeah.
planning, or how does it cross? How is it running both wedding photography business and a corporate photography business?
So I think just connections, what starts as like an engagement inquiry comes, I do their wedding, I do their family photography, and then they start a business. I end up doing their business branding. It kind of all combines together through the connections I make through weddings, and both through the corporate side. Oh, do you do weddings? I was shooting for a company that does kitchen and baths, and I'm in somebody's kitchen just doing the after photos, and this woman's like, oh, my daughter's getting married. Do you do weddings? I'm like, sure do. Yeah. So again, it's just making personal connections and being invited back time and time again to families is like the most successful part of my business, I think.
So your ideal client is like a 23-year-old CEO that gets married and then
Yeah.
has kids and also needs headshots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you mentioned, we talked a little bit before, and you mentioned like work-life balance, which
Yeah. I'm not.
being like a solo person run business, I know that that's like one of the hardest things.
Yes.
How does that, what's the struggle like? How do you approach it? Like, what are some things you do?
So
Do you have a work-life balance?
I don't. I'm working on it, but I'm a solo parent as well.
Yeah.
So that comes into play that, that's a full-time job in itself. And then running a business and doing all the things, it doesn't leave room for social life. So I feel like my social life is my work, if that makes sense, which might come into play is why I put so much effort into making relationships and building trust with those people because I have fun doing it. And it's my social life, as sad as that sounds.
No, I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah.
Kind of the same. What are there like any, are you trying to like improve it as you go? I don't know how you did all this when you had like a child.
Yeah.
Like knowing you from when we shared offices before I had the space, you were like, I don't know how you did it, but are you like trying to change it now?
Well, now that my daughter's getting older, it's becoming a little bit easier. Although now I'm an Uber driver for her everywhere in sports and all the things. But, when I started this, she came with me to all of my shoots, whether she was in a stroller or, obviously not weddings, but she, grew to be like taking behind the scenes footage of all my family stuff. And she does really well with video and working with kids and getting kids to kind of smile. She's like my secret weapon. Now that she's entering the teen years, she's not coming as much, but it was tough, but it still is, because weekends, that's when sports are. And I missed a couple of
weddings. Yeah.
Yeah. Lacrosse tournaments. And, my brother kind of gave her a ride one weekend. My mom stepped in. But yeah. So
It's a lot of late nights editing or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more of an early bird, so I'll get up early and edit before anyone's up,
So, all right. So let's talk about key turning points. Are there any that come to mind? Like, obviously I would imagine leaving the teaching job is like a key turning point, but like, are there any moments in the last decade that stand out as like forks in the road? Yeah,
I would say probably like 5 years ago, I didn't have to market as much. Like stuff was just coming in
pre-COVID,
from every direction, and I had to start turning down jobs and sending them to other photographers, and I just couldn't take on the workload and working 60, 70 hours a week. You just can't. There's only one person. You can't do it all. So I think that was the turning point because I didn't really have to market as much then, and then COVID hit. So that kind of changed the game for weddings at least. And everybody in this business and industry was wondering, what am I going to do? Freaking out. But I actually went back to teaching. So that's like
Oh, you did?
yeah.
During COVID?
Yep. So me and my best friend pulled our kids from public school. I wrote a curriculum and started a classroom in her third floor of her home, and she got a couple of neighbors. It was in Winchester, and I taught that whole year. It was crazy. It was fun. Yeah, those kids will remember that forever.
Yeah, that's a good way to handle COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
So you said you didn't have to market as much before. What's it like now? Do you do a lot of marketing now? Is it still like you probably nurture those relationships you have, right? Like, do you do a lot of marketing? Do you get repeat business from like the business side of things? Weddings, obviously, people get married and then move on. But like, what's the breakdown like now?
So I do marketing. For the wedding aspect of it, I do, the knot and wedding wire is kind of a big one. I have mixed feelings about that, but I'm staying on there. It's what you got to do. And, honestly, it's the relationship. So when I shoot a wedding, 2 years down the road, I'm shooting a bridesmaid from that wedding. Oh, we loved you at that wedding and da 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 da. So it really is a lot of just referrals and building relationships and
make a good impression.
Yeah,
and then the bridesmaids like it.
And I become kind of the household photographer because I did their wedding, and then I did their maternity session, and then their newborn session, and then first birthday cake smash and Christmas cards. I've had people where I see them every year and I just get to watch their kids grow. It's crazy.
A few years ago, you said, like, I have this couple that needs video, and they were doing a gender reveal.
Yep.
And I think I filmed the
video
part of that.
Oh, yeah, that was one with the plane.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
So it kind of does unravel like that, I bet, where you have all these offshoots.
Yeah.
How do you kind of maintain those relationships? Do you have any do you like just text messaging? Do you have like any systems in place?
I think social media plays a big part of it because when I get a bride, I always say, hey, like, let's follow each other on social media. So that way I get to, follow you when you find your dress and when you do all these things. So keeping in touch with them that way, commenting on their stuff. I don't know. I don't know how that unravels.
So social media is your big, that's kind of your primary channel?
I don't do any like email blasts or, things like that. It's just, I just make it personal to them.
Well, let's talk about how you handle social media. So like the aspiring wedding photographer, business photographer wants to know what to do. Like how do you approach social media? What do you post? Do you kind of like behind the scenes kind of stuff, finished work? What's your approach to it?
So I'm not the type that goes, hey guys, just popping on to say, like, I don't show my face or anything. I basically show the real part of life. And I think, when in the beginning, I always got advice saying, oh, you have to separate the two. You have to have your personal Instagram and Facebook and then business. But mine is just combined into one because I feel like I'm my brand. And I think that people love to see my daughter and love to see my life outside of work because that's the person I am. And I think when people like the person, they keep in touch. And I have people that reach out and be like, oh, is Cora going to come? We haven't seen her since she was 4. It's like they keep up with, that's just the times. It feels kind of creepy where you're like, oh, like that person knows my daughter. But like, that's the times. That's how people kind of stay in touch.
What specifically do you find works better than, like, do you do like stories? Like, what drives the most attention and leads, do you think? Is there like a specific?
I think when brides share my work, that's when I get new followers. Like if somebody shares one of my posts, I immediately get like 2 of her friends that just starts following me. And they might be engaged, they might be pregnant, they might be having a business and starting a business and starting a website and need help. So I think that's how.
And then you kind of just regularly post to keep like,
I don't get a ton of engagement. It's not like I have like, 1,000 likes on each post. It's more of like the people who do like my post and share my post are my people. And so they're real, like they're not across the United States where they're never going to hire me. They're local. They're in New England. So
And engagement's kind of like a double-edged sword now. How often do you engage with posts? You're like, everyone's accustomed now to scrolling. They're seeing it. It's
Yeah.
registering. People aren't liking and commenting as much as before. So
Right.
it's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think we're seeing that with our clients. Like, as long as you're showing up and making an
Yeah.
impression, people are getting less used to that engagement. But they're
Right.
still seeing you. And then
Right.
if you show up enough,
Yeah.
hopefully when they need you.
It is kind of like a blow to the ego though, because you're like
Yeah.
posting this like my best shot. This shot was amazing. This
It's only
is
got
the
2
shot, and
likes.
then it's like 5 people
Yeah.
are like. But if you picture it in real life, 5 friends there for you, like cheerleaders for you,
Yeah.
like that's the real deal. It's not like you need 1,000 people just going, oh, whatever.
Right. Right.
But if you think about it in any aspect, if like you're scrolling and you see a taco, you know,
You
don't.
want tacos.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I want tacos. And you go and get a taco.
But you might not be like, this is the best looking taco I've ever seen.
Yeah, you
on
never
a post.
like
or
write
like
on it or
but yeah.
or like it, but you certainly go look for that taco.
Right. That's like going viral. I always say like, it's not really what you want to do. Cause like, I mean, it's about having that core audience who knows you and like needs your stuff.
Right.
Going viral, I mean, it
Yeah.
feels good like on your ego, but it doesn't always help you really.
No, it doesn't do anything for your business except it might give you a little clout, like, oh, she's got
Yeah.
1 million followers. And
But if you're helping local businesses, I don't think the focus should be entirely on going viral and
Right.
likes. Like
Right.
you need leads and you need clients really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
so. All right. What do you use mostly? Instagram, Facebook, just Instagram, TikTok? What's your
Instagram?
Yeah.
I'm not really a TikToker.
not on TikTok?
No, I feel like on TikTok you have to show your face and
Yeah.
kind of be all up in it. Instagram, I just show my work, and sometimes I'll show like I love stories. Everybody like is on stories more so than
Yeah.
the
I use
feed.
those more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that's how I interact. Like if someone posts something on their story, I'll message them being like, "Oh my God, that's so funny," or whatever it is.
Right.
And I post the real deal. Like yesterday, I posted like I was editing a wedding, and I was trying to capture a candid of like the crowd clapping, and this guy just like clocked me and looked right at me and dead stare.
I think I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like people loved it. Like I got so many like laughs. So like acting throughout the stories, but may not be like on my feed.
Right.
So
Yeah. We covered a lot about anything else on social media. You think like any tips or tricks or like
I don't, because like it changes so
changes?
much.
Yeah, it changes like every month.
You have to be a expert in it and really follow the trends on what time to post, when to post, what to post, and all those things. I just think making it personal, and I do run a couple of accounts for local businesses, and just making it personal. It really grabs the attention of people in this town, people in the town next door, and those are the people you need. You don't need followers in India.
Right. So going back to the local business photography you do, what's like, do you think, what is the biggest pain point that those businesses have when they come to you with photos? Do you know what I mean? Do they just need photos for their website because they need to, or like?
Well, I think people struggle with content. I think people that are running a business, that are entrepreneurs, that are moms, that are dads, that are, they struggle with what to post, when to post, especially people that are a little bit older than me. They didn't grow up with it, so it's a little bit different. My daughter's 12 and she can do things I've never seen before. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
how do you know that?
I know.
So, right now I have a yoga studio that's reached out to me. They do, wellness and massage and things like that. And they reached out and they're like, I just don't know what to post. Like I spend hours trying to like make a video and time it perfectly, and then like it gets zero engagement. So I'm starting to kind of help her out and just make her realize that it's not the likes. You don't need likes. You need people in your area to engage and to see it and
Right.
to keep seeing it and keep reminding them that you're there.
Yeah. You just need clients at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and I think that the clients need content, because people don't sometimes, people don't make it a priority, and you look at their page and, that's the face of your business. Your website is, but social media is like your first interaction. You see a business, and if you look at a page and it's not very like aesthetically pleasing or it doesn't look professional, people are going to be like, oh,
Right.
I remember like 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I was in a hair salon, and like these younger girls were next to me, and she was like, oh, that girl doesn't even have Instagram. Like, I'm not going to go to her.
Yeah, I
like
feel like that's probably way more important if your client base is like
yeah,
30 years old or
yeah,
younger, because
yep.
they're
They're
looking
yeah.
definitely looking at social media first,
Yeah.
probably.
It's your portfolio,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
It is your website. It's your walking website, but it's every day.
Yeah.
Imagine having to update your website every day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's impossible.
Yeah. Which
so-
I need to update my website.
I know it's tough. That's like on my end of things, marketing companies who do social media, but their social media looks like shit.
Right.
It's like you have to
I
be
know.
cognizant of that.
I know.
I feel like with being a photographer, it's probably maybe a little easier because whatever you do, you can post. Maybe.
Right. So that's why I started getting into social media management, is because I kind of cut out the middleman. I was doing the photography for the social media pages, right? So then I was sending those pictures to a social media manager, and then that manager had to do this and do that and like get the content from this, the business. So I kind of just cut out the middleman, and I had all the photos anyway. So I was like, build a gallery over time and you have content to post.
And then if they don't do a good enough job, the client might think that your photos weren't worth it.
Right.
Right. We had that's how I've shifted, because we were doing videos and the clients, business owners didn't know what to do with it. They didn't have time. They'd hire an agency maybe for a stupid amount. And then if they didn't do the right thing, they thought my videos were, looked good, but it didn't have an ROI.
Right.
So that's why we got more into the whole full scale front to back of it all. All right. So what do you think in 5 years, in 10 years, what do you think the industry is going to be like? Wedding photography is still going to be a thing? Business headshots going to be a thing? Is AI going to do it all? Or what do you think?
I don't know.
What trends do you see happening?
I don't think we need AI as much as everybody thinks they need it. But
I mean, I feel like the personable stuff you can't replicate, right? Like,
right.
So I think, what did you put on your questions? You put photojournalistic?
Yeah,
trend?
I feel like that's here to stay. It's less posed, less perfect. If you look at the trends now, it's you see blurry photos and crooked horizons, and it's no longer this like everything has to be sharp and crisp and posed.
Like wedding photos come out like that? I've been out of that game for a while. Is that how it?
Yeah. If you take a look at like the trends, it's crazy. It's like
So you
that
can be
looks
like
like a mistake.
You can be like a poor quality photographer.
Not really, no, because it
good.
is purposeful,
Okay.
And I like it when it's like movement and when it shows kind of like chaos or something like that.
Like slow shutter speed or something. And
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. But it's not as posed, so you kind of you make it personal because you're not interrupting their day. You're just shooting however their day goes. You're not guiding as much. If that makes sense. Like for us, we really only pose during those formal photos. With
like after this.
After the ceremony, like family and bridal party. Like I'll say, oh, hands in your pockets, turn this way, do this, do that. And that's when I direct. But I do give cues. So for the bride and groom, I'll say like, hold hands and walk, like give her a twirl, like whisper something funny in her ear, whatever it is. But
like during the time that's dedicated to that, right?
Yeah.
Not like when they're
not
walking down the aisle.
No. But so I do give them cues, but it's more of like showing their personality and getting those in between moments instead of like the posed ones.
Okay. What's like a wedding day like for you? If you could sum it up, do you like go to the hotel when people are getting ready, or like what's it?
I black out.
Yeah.
And I come home, I'm like, what just happened?
How long do you shoot for? What's a wedding? Like 10 hours?
8 hours typically. Okay. So, 8-hour 2 photographer package. You start at the hotel, you get the early chaos of getting ready. And it is a lot of orchestrating. Like I'm the person that tells you where you're supposed to be and, let's go, it's time to get going, like get in your dress. So like I hold the timeline until they get to the ceremony or the reception. And then, the day of planner takes it, or the DJ or the band, so I'm responsible for getting certain shots done before a certain time. So it can be a little chaotic, but I feel like my clients now are pretty like chill, and I love clients that trust me and, just hand it over.
Yeah. So what's a normal headshot session? Like 2, 3, 4 hours tops?
2 hours.
Yeah.
It depends if it's like a smaller company. I do have a package that's an hour, and you get a couple headshots and a couple branding. It's like a starter package. But
And if they have a bigger budget, I can see why you might not want to, be 100% weddings and
yeah,
get some
that's
of those.
it. Yeah, exactly. And then you don't have to give up as much weekends. And
Right.
I actually enjoy it. I thought, oh, well, corporate headshots, it's kind of boring, but it's not, because I can still make people feel confident, and I still have that interaction and make them laugh and, make them feel themselves in I feel like I take the awkwardness off of them and I put it on me. And then sometimes I'm like, what did I just say?
So you're a pretty awkward person? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing all right now.
It takes away from them, though.
Yeah.
I make them feel comfortable. Like, if you look at my reviews, it's not like, oh, she's so
awkward.
She's so organized, and she's so, it's like, oh, it was like being with my best friend. She made me feel so comfortable, and she was so easy to work with. And, that's what I want to hear. I might not be the most like organized on the back end situation, but when I show up, I like give it my all. So.
All right. Well, what's one step that you would say those business owners that might not have time to post, like the ones that you're helping?
Mm-hmm.
What's something they can do without even like hiring someone? What's a tip, like, or even maybe hiring someone? Like, maybe they don't know how.
Well, I think having, eye-catching photos and videos, that's where you start. So you build a gallery. So get some professional photos or some video, and then you have content, and then it's easy. It's easier to post because you have stuff to post, right? And you just have to come up and make it relatable to your business.
Even if they just hire you for photos, can they?
Yep,
they still have what they need to just put it in motion on their own.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot.
I know.
We've covered a lot.
Good.
Yeah, I think we're getting towards the end of our first episode.
Nice.
Pretty good. What
Nailed it.
Or actually, no, I wanted to talk about this. I want to talk about working for free, because that's like when you're like starting out, and especially when you're a solo entrepreneur, solopreneur. Would you work for free? Like, how do you?
I did it. I still, it's tough, because sometimes if I'm really interested in something, or like, for instance, the yoga studio that reached out, their budget is very low. And I'm like, you know what? It's winter and this lady's awesome. I want to help her. I still kind of do things like that.
Pricing sucks, like figuring out pricing.
It does. Yeah, it really does. But, in the beginning, when I'm not from Amesbury, I'm not from here. So everyone thinks I'm from here because I know everybody, and but it's because I shot for the Chamber when Cassandra was.
Same,
Back then. And, I think I did ribbon cuttings, and I got paid $25 a shoot, but what did I do? I got to meet the new businesses that are coming into town. I made relationships, and I had them tag me. So, I think back then, that's how I got all my business.
Local stuff. Are you still a Chamber member? Like,
No. So I kind of I think I not priced out of Amesbury, but I kind of did.
It's only so much you can do.
I did the thing, So, and there is a couple new businesses in town, but I kind of have been here for a while doing the same thing. So I think people want something new and fresh.
Right. Yeah. I was a member of 4 chambers, and now it's just one, because it's just
Amesbury
right now. Yeah.
I was for a really long time, but I just feel like I wasn't utilizing it as much as I should have, because
it's hard to make time to go to events and stuff.
So I don't network. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing that, those friendships with people within my industry, because I don't go to networking things. And sometimes I'm like, damn it, I should have went to that. But it's a lot of work.
It is. Yeah.
It's getting a babysitter. It's getting dressed up, it's the things I don't really want to do. And then when I get there, that's when I feel like I'm awkward. Because if I don't have a camera in my hand, I'm just like, what do I don't know. I'm in the corner eating cheese.
Yeah. When I go to those things, it's depending on my mindset. If I'm not in a social mood, I tend to be the cheese eater in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tough to go and say, oh, hi, I'm Kate. And I struggle with that, but I really want to do it more.
Yeah. All right. Last question then. What are some of your biggest challenges? What do you think you could improve on doing? Whether that's marketing or just business related challenges.
So networking and becoming a part of collaborations within the community, I could probably do better because it is isolating. I'm home editing by myself all the time, and it's pretty isolating running your own business, even though, when people look at my Instagram, they see me like in the middle of the dance floor, like it looks like a party, like, oh, you get to go every weekend. It's like, yeah, it's not easy. People think it's easy. Weddings are really hard.
They're hard, especially just physically.
Yeah, physically.
Yeah.
You have to be in physical shape. You're all over the place. You have to, it's a lot of pressure. You only get one shot,
Yeah, you can't mess up.
No. So I think like I have difficulty. I guess this is like a weird thing. It's like there's a lot of photographers around here, right? Everyone's there's
It's like real estate agencies.
Yeah, everyone's just upping their game, and it's hard to go, oh man, like what can I do different? Like it's hard to keep changing and evolving, and in the winter, that's when I take, I watch tutorials and I try to educate myself more on like trends and, things that I can do differently. I really do struggle with like the back end of my business. So I feel like if I was a little more organized in that sense, maybe have an email blast, maybe, have an email list.
Yeah.
That might help. But
what do you use for systems? Like you mentioned like Wedding Wire and that stuff. And then how do you like contract? Like what do you use for all that stuff?
I use HoneyBook.
Okay.
It's a contract.
I think they have like email lists, don't they?
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
You have an email list.
Never clicked on that part of the
Okay.
So I think taking the time to just, I guess, be organized and come up with systems that work instead of, I just spend a lot of time doing things, even like editing. I still hand touch every photo, even though there's AI out there, even though there's culling systems, even, I just sit there for hours and pick the photos.
Would you ever look at like not having those do everything, but like maybe a culling system, something to save you some time?
Yes. So that's probably, I should take, a class in the AI world.
Yeah.
I am, instead of doom scrolling, I now like learn, I listen to like learning podcasts and things like that.
Yeah.
But I did try the AI. I went to a styled shoot. I was like, oh, I might as well try it. It's not a real wedding. So I pressed a button and it was done in 3 minutes. I was like, oh my God.
How'd it look?
Amazing.
Okay. So I think you should use that again on something.
I know, but you still have to go back and like hand touch things, edit and straighten.
Must save you a little time though.
It does. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I should get into that.
How many photos do you come away with on a wedding day? Like thousands, hundreds? Like just
like
to go through?
Like 1,000. If it's an 8-hour wedding, 2 photographers, we both have 2 cameras. I'm kind of a photo hoarder because like say if there's like a, 3 in a row of the bride, I'm like, well, I like this one, but what if she likes that one? And like, I don't want to throw this one away. It's good. Right. So I kind of give more than I should, which probably could be overwhelming for the bride, but
probably better to over deliver.
I definitely over deliver. Yeah. Cause my second Vin's always like, dude, he gives me 300 photos and I have 3,000.
Yeah.
But
that's all right. Well, all right. So how can people find you? So you have your Instagram, your website. What's the best way to reach out or look at your stuff?
I would say, going through Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can go right directly to my website.
And if they want to reach out about having you photo a wedding through there?
Yeah, or my website. There's a contact me page.
Perfect. Well, thanks for chatting. Me. How was the podcast experience here?
It was good. It was a little intimidating when I walked in. There's a lot of lights and a lot of gadgets, but no, it's like I've known you for a long time, so you made it easy.
A quick backstory on that. Let's just share how we met, I guess. So we met, I don't even know what year it was, but this building we're in now is called the Trades Mill. I'm pretty sure we were the first tenants or second back in like the front of it. Mm-hmm. We shared an office. I have a photo somewhere of us ribbon cutting.
Yep.
Back then. You still have a space here, right?
Yeah, I still have our same office.
Yeah.
That's something I could work on. I don't do much with it. I do rent it out to people who are in the wedding industry. They do makeup trials there, and I shoot in there sometimes, but I'd like to rent it out because it is kind of a blank space. I tried to be different, and we painted the walls black. And, we have backdrops and stuff, but there's only certain things you can do with an all black studio and red brick. But
yeah, I painted mine black too. That was a good spot though. It's in the front. You can kind of see the
It's
see
not good
everything.
spot for you though, because you can hear everything.
Yeah, well, there's now a like a dance studio on the other side of the wall here.
Oh,
So
that's right.
jokes on me. Although they built a second wall and insulated it. It's
Oh, that's good. Could you
pretty
put
good.
this insulation on that wall maybe?
The wood stuff is just kind of looks.
Oh, I thought
So
that
there's
helps with sound.
another Pilates lady over there.
Yep.
But she's super quiet.
Yeah.
But if she were to like yell or I were to yell,
Yeah.
like
I mean, Motivate crushes it.
yeah,
They go for it.
yeah, I love them. But sometimes they're a little loud. But
Yeah.
it's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, Ben, our landlord, put a second wall with like
Oh,
heavy duty
instant.
insulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Did
showed up one day and I was just like, why do I feel like I'm in a bar class? And he's like, surprise, you have a new neighbor.
Yeah.
But anyway, great. I love the building.
Yes.
Super nice tenants. Everyone's
Same.
great.
Yes.
Yeah. Just kind of the nuances of sharing a space.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks, everyone. That's it. Anything else?
No,
No?
that's it.
Okay.
No, I
well,
just think I would say if you're a new business owner or an upcoming photographer, just stick with it. Just don't get down on yourself. If I look back 10 years ago on my photos, I'd be ashamed.
right. Yeah.
Be
Same
horrified.
with my videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like horrified, but that's how you learn and grow. You gotta go through it.
You got to suck to be good.
Yeah, I guess so. Because you
Basically.
gotta want to be better and put your heart and soul into it. So
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks
All
for
right.
listening to an episode of Local Business Unboxed. If you enjoyed it, follow us where you get your podcasts. We're going to be on Spotify and Apple for the most part, YouTube as well. Show notes and resources will be linked below, including Kate's information if you're looking to hire her or just ask her questions. We'll see you next time.
see ya.